Montessori? Are the kids there?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Once there was a shipbuilder, a Jewish shipbuilder, and he had workers that hated him because he was a Jew. So they snuck into his office and they forged some of his papers. They made changes in some of his accounting books as though he made a lot of money, more than what he declared to the government. And then they went to the government and told them to, this is in Russia now, in the time of the Alter Rebbe, right? They told them to make a investigation. Sure enough, they broke into his offices, confiscated his books, looked and saw that really he was declaring to the government that he only earned $1 million a year. And there was written that he earned $10 million a year. So no lawyer wanted to take his case. It was really in a very desperate situation. He didn't know what to do. Someone said, what about lawyer, this lawyer? What about that? I've been to all of them. No one wants to take my case. It's closed. I have no witnesses. They've got the books. So he said, I advise you to go to the Alter Rebbe, to the first Rebbe of Chabad. So he said, okay. So we went to the Rebbe of Chabad. They had to put a tremendous amount of money for bail. And they stationed policemen around his house so that if he didn't show up for the trial, they would put his whole family in jail. So he goes to the Alter Rebbe, and the Alter Rebbe says, I'll tell you what to do. So the way you can do it, he was not a Chassid, this person. He was a regular, normal Jew, religious Jew. So he went to the Rebbe, and the Rebbe said to him, I'll tell you what to do. Go down to the horse market and buy the nicest horses you can buy. 4 most expensive, healthy horses you can. Then and buy a carriage. You can even hook them up to your own carriage. This man, the ship maker, was a rich man. Then take the horses and ride. The horses will pull the carriage, ride down to Petersburg. Petersburg was where the castle was of the Tsar. I think it was Tsar Alexander in those days, anyway. And just ride your carriage back and forth. There's a big road in front of the royal palace. And you just take your carriage and go to the end of that road and then come back again. It's a long road, like, a half a mile long. You just go, and that's what you do. And then if anyone comes out from the palace and asks you if the horses are for sale, you say, no, they're not for sale. And if he starts to raise prices, ask this person who wants to buy them. But don't say your name. Who wants to buy them? If he says the Tsar wants to buy them, then stop the carriage, get out of the carriage, stand on the street, stand at attention, and say, for the Tsar, I give these horses for free. I love the Tsar. And if he asks your name, don't tell him your name. Don't say your name. Only if the Tsar himself asks. So he says, okay, what's he going to do with horses? But he has got no choice. He's tried everything else. Nothing's going to work. The trial is going to be in another week. So he goes to them, returns back to his city, and he goes to the horse market, buys the nicest horses he can buy. Expensive, tremendously expensive horses. But they're beautiful. And he has them all groomed and everything. And they bring them to his house, attach them to his carriage. And he sets off, dresses nicely, sets off, goes to Petersburg. It's a drive of, several hours. When he gets there, he brushes the horses again, gives them water to drink, gives them food so they look good. And he starts going back and forth, 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 back and forth. An hour, 2 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours. Suddenly you see somebody coming out from the palace, a person who looks like he's dressed like a servant, And he stands in front of the carriage and he says, excuse me, who are you? He said, I'm a Jew. Tell me why, he said, am I doing something wrong? He said, no. I'd like to know, are those horses for sale? I said, no, these horses, I wouldn't say. What about 1,000 rubles? I said, no, I'm sorry, I wouldn't sell these horses. What about 3,000 rubles? He says, I'm sorry. Tell me who wants to buy these? Exactly what the Alter Rebbe told. Who wants to buy these horses? So the Tsar himself. So the Tsar himself wants to buy the horses. He did what the man said. He stopped the carriage, tied up the reins, got out of the driver's seat, stood on the ground, stood up straight, and he said, for the Tsar, I give these horses for free. I love the Tsar. And the servant said, oh yeah, really? He said, yeah, what is your name? It's not important. I'm just telling this. I don't want anything back from the Tsar. Good, so the servant unhooks the horses and he takes them in. And here's this Jew sitting in his carriage, no horses are on it. And so he's sitting there, and the servant, after 15 minutes, comes out, and he says, the Tsar wants to speak to you. He says, okay. So he follows the servant in, and there takes him down to the stables, and there's the Tsar petting these horses, beautiful, beautiful horses, petting the horses. And the Tsar says to him, these are beautiful horses. I want to thank you. You gave me a beautiful gift. He said, I like horses, I like horses. He's got all these other hundreds of horses in this stable. And he said, tell me, what is your name? What are you? He says, my name is Zalman Grois. He says, Zalman Grois, what city do you come from? He said, I come from some city right next to, I don't know, Petersburg. I don't know geography, Russian geography, some city that's like 3 hours away from. So wait a second, you're the Zalman Grois, you're the shipbuilder? I said, yes. You have a big trial coming up. I said, yes, I do, Your Majesty, and I'm innocent. I said, you're innocent, but they have all the papers against it. I've been looking. I said, yes, but those papers were forged. Something is wrong. I never cheated. I never did it. It's wrong. It's steal. So meanwhile, the Tsar is petting these horses. He says, nice horses you got over there, nice horses. He says, tell me how you're going to get back to your city. He says, I don't know. He says, I'll give you 2 simple horses. You can go back with those horses. And you know what? I'll send some of my investigators to see what's going on, if it's really true, like what you said. Let's see. But however it is, even if you're guilty, thank you for the horses. So he gives him 2 simple horses. He attaches them to he goes back home. And sure enough, what happens is the Tsar sends a few of his investigators, and they take all the papers, all the books, and they want to know who are the accusers, and they interrogate them, and sure enough, the whole thing is burst open, and they see the whole thing was just a big lie, and it was a setup, and this Jew goes free. So the Jew goes back to the Alter Rebbe, and he says, you saved my life. You saved my life. You're an amazing tzaddik. It was a big miracle. How do you do? I owe you everything. The Alter Rebbe said it wasn't a miracle. It wasn't a miracle at all. I saw in the Chumash that it says that there's a commandment about the king. Lo yarbe lo susim. A king is not supposed to have too many horses. Why? Because too many horses make a king crazy. What type of a king is it talking about in the Torah? It's talking about a holy king like King Solomon. If horses make a king like King Solomon crazy, such a crazy, for sure horses make a disgusting king like the Tsar, for sure they're going to make him crazy. I knew for sure that as soon as the Tsar saw those horses, he would go crazy and you can convince him of anything that you wanted. So it wasn't a miracle, said the Alter Rebbe. Okay, was it a miracle or wasn't it a miracle? Of course it was a miracle, but it was a miracle clothed in nature. And that's exactly what we can see, that all of nature itself is an amazing miracle, that Hashem is making it for us. That's why there are tzaddikim in the world to direct our attention to this amazing, blessed fact. Have a good day, everyone. See you at 3 o'clock.